Hello students, welcome to our afternoon read aloud. So far we have read 3 biographies. Remember, a biography is a book about someone's life, and we've read three books about MLK Jr., Martin Luther King Jr., that were biographies. And if you'll remember, one of the important events that he led was a boycott. Remember, a boycott is when you refuse to buy or use something as a protest. And he led the boycott of using the buses in Montgomery, Alabama. Today I'm going to read a biography to you about Rosa Parks. She was the woman who started it all. Here we go. So on the cover I see Rosa Parks by Joan Stoltman. Rosa Parks, and this is actually a series. On the back I can see pictures of other famous people who are in the series, biographies about these other famous people you can get. This is called Little Biographies of Big People. Oh, and there's a table of contents. Born in troubled times, an early leader, the day everything changed. Oh, I bet that's going to be at the start of the bus boycott. A change is going to come. Continuing to fight, glossary for more information and index. Oh, there's the heading. Born in troubled times. Rosa Parks was born in 1913 in Alabama. When she was young, she moved into her grandparents' house with her mother and brother, Sylvester. Her grandparents were both former slaves. Rosa was born years after slavery ended, but black people were still treated badly. Wow. So Rosa Parks, her grandparents had been slaves. And even though slavery was over, blacks were not treated well, especially in the South where she lived. Rosa grew up during segregation. Black people had separate elevators, restrooms, entrances, and even drinking fountains. A black person could get hurt or killed for not following the laws and customs of the South. Rosa's black school had only one room and one teacher for 50 students of all ages. And there's a picture of those separate water fountains we learned about in the other book, For Colored Only. Here's a heading, an early leader. So this is going to be about, I think, when she starts to be a leader. At age 19, Rosa married Raymond Parks. He was a member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. That's a special organization, a big organization that supports rights for blacks and good things for black people. Rosa joined too. With the NAACP, Rosa helped work for black voting rights, fair treatment from police and judges, and to end segregation. And here's a picture of her, and there's a small picture of her husband, Raymond Parks. The day everything changed. Oh, there's the bus picture. Here we go. One day in 1955, Rosa was riding the bus home from work. In the South, black people had to sit in the back of the bus. Whites could sit in the front. But once the front was full, the bus driver tried to give Rosa's seat to a white person. She wouldn't allow it. I was not tired physically. Oh, see, I see quotation marks. So this is what she actually said. I was not tired physically, no. The only tired I was tired of giving in. Like giving in to unfairness. The bus driver called the police. Rosa was taken off the bus and put in jail. It wasn't the first time a black person had stood up against segregation, but her friends at the NAACP decided it would be the last. A change is gonna come. The local NAACP group met to organize a bus boycott. They placed ads in newspapers and passed out flyers in black neighborhoods, churches, and schools. It wasn't easy, but 40,000 black people carpooled, biked, and walked, and even rode mules instead of riding the bus. So everybody agreed that they would boycott. They would stop using the buses until the bus company and the laws were changed to be fair to black people. That's called a boycott, right? The bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama was the first time so many people stood up against segregation. Rosa, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and 87 others were jailed for boycotting, yet the boycott continued for over a year until the city changed its laws. And there's a photograph of her with Dr. Martin Luther King, MLK Jr. Continuing to fight. After segregation was made illegal, illegal means not legal, Rosa and Raymond moved to Detroit, Michigan. Rosa continued to fight for equal treatment of blacks and women in schools, housing, jobs, and the courts. She also taught many young people about history and how to be good citizens. Right? Because standing up for what is right is being a good citizen. Rosa died at age 92 in 2005. She's the only woman ever to lie in state at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. In 2013, a statue of her was built at the Capitol. Rosa was one person who made a big difference. And here's President Obama, I think when they set up her statue, and here Rosa Parks said, "Freedom fighters never retire." So even after she was so old, right? She lived till she was 92, but even when she was quite old, she kept working to teach young people about how to be good citizens. Oh, here's the glossary. Oh, boycott. Again, we get that word we're working on. The act of refusing to have dealings with a person or business in order to force change. Carpool. That's when you share a car with others, right? To get a ride. And we're not going to read all the rest of them because we've pretty much been learning them or we know them. So I got to do something at the end of this book. And the page that I like the most, that really emphasizes what happens, is it explains how the bus boycott was the first time that so many people stood up against segregation. So it was like the first big event of the civil rights movement. And that was in my message this morning. What are civil rights? Civil rights are the rights that we have under the law from our government. And so it's like the right to vote and the right to be treated equally and fairly, right? And that's what we've been learning about here. So I hope you enjoyed learning about another amazing person in the fight for civil rights, fighting with words, not with our fists. Anyway, I hope you have a nice afternoon. Don't forget to keep washing your hands, cover your coughs and sneezes, do some reading, do some writing, help your family around the house, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.